Hey, what's up? This is Running Fishing. This is Vinny Melkus. I'm going to do a season recap, pretty much because we just ended Grand for the TNPFL, which, if you paid attention to that, I did not do well. It's weird. This whole season's been just a complete dumpster fire, and I'll go over it. Everything that I could have imagined gone wrong went wrong in a number of ways, equipment-wise. So my first tournament in Arizona, I crushed them in the morning. And then my lower unit goes out. So then I'm just stuck around the marina, which is not a bad area there in Lake Havasu. But after it's been beaten up by 100 guys or so, it can get kind of tough. So I still did all right there, but I didn't make any money, right? So then I go to the TNPFL. Eufaula had a bad first day, then come back. Then we go to the next lake. I'll just put it, what went wrong. So it was broken on me in different times. Every event, there's something devastating happens. So the lower unit, fiberglass on my boat gets crushed on the side. Lose a wheel bearing in one event. Trolling motor. Oh yeah, the trolling motor went out earlier this year. So I had to send that in Lawrence. Then the trolling motor goes out in Winnebago for a while. I lose a pretty good fish. And then lost two multi-$100 rods, real nice St. Croix. And then just lost a reel at this tournament. And then what else happened this tournament? They went out. Oh, one of the tournaments, my graphs just didn't work. There was like a glitch in there. Inexplicably, it stopped working. And it wasn't power or anything. It was just like, yeah, it'll stop. Weird things happen. But not only that, so then I've just, I've never had this issue in the past where I just didn't land fish. I've had some jump off, everybody does, but I think Pickwick was a good example where, I don't know Pickwick, right? So I was there and I found something and I had the opportunity to at least make a check, right? But I don't know how many big fish jumped off. Like, I don't know how many on rigs that I was fishing with that I don't have fish jump off on. Usually you have that kind of hook, that like a O'Shaughnessy style Mako hook, and you're pinned. Like law of numbers, eventually you're going to have some. But normally, having 4 or 5 good fish jump off in a row, you can't do that. You just can't do that. And that happened at almost every event. At Wright Patman, that's probably the only good day I had was on Wright Patman. And I still lost a big fish. I should have had over 20-pound bag on that last day. But I had one jump off on like a flipping hook. But oh well. But then on some of the other ones, like on Grand this week. So Grand, what happened? I know Grand. I should have done really well on Grand. And I lost day one. Yeah, it was kind of tough. I catch a lot of shorts, and normally I don't do that at Grand. Normally I catch a lot, at least keepers 14-inch, and usually get a 4+ pounder, which I did on day one. So I wasn't like I got 2 fish, and I lost a big one on day one. And the funny thing is about that, I lost him, and then I didn't even lose it. I broke off like 20-pound test inexplicably, like just broke. No, it was nearly tied. Normally that's the stuff I was ripping things out of Wright Patman bushes, and it just broke. So then I retied, and I was still calm. I was like, okay, well, so then I go right back in there and I catch a 4 or something. So that other fish that I broke off, I know he was as big, if not bigger than that. He's probably 4 or 5 pounds. But that set the tone, and then I lost a couple other keepers. So then I only weighed in 2 fish. So the next day I run to my other spots and I get 3 keepers off the bat, and guess what happens? I accidentally using a $20 something, Mega Bass lure, hit of my GoPro camera. That's why I don't have any footage of this tournament. Hit the camera, and the camera falls off out of the battery pack into the lake. And then that lure also is destroyed. And that's when the tournament really flicked off, because I'd made a big move. I was like, all right, I'm going to go do this. I know Grand enough. I know some spots. So I ran down there. Yeah, sure enough, 3 keepers pretty quick. And then after that, it was like, okay, everything switched back off. So then I run to some other areas, and there's shad everywhere, and I just can't catch a keeper. So I don't know. It was just bad luck. So the third day, I ran to another area, and then there's people that, because it's the last day, so there's people on areas that normally wouldn't be. Some other nature calls that I had to adhere to that took some time out of my day, then a thunderstorm, and then I'd catch big drum where I couldn't get bass. So I was fishing, and the funny thing is I was fishing a lot of the same areas, a lot of the top 10 guys, or some of them that I knew, and I was doing the same thing that they were doing. And that's how I caught that 4-pounder. Was up on some shallow wood. And then I went to some docks too, like the winner was doing, and I know what area the lake he was in. I know where Sheldon Collins was too, because he was on a spot that I know too, on in one of the creeks, and I see him as an offshore spot, and then I just left it alone. And then on the third day, he was done fishing. I went over there, and I just decided to leave it alone, and I went to the dock and caught one keeper. But I caught a bunch of others short. So it was just crazy. It was just bad luck. I don't know what happened. But on these other tournaments, so Grand, yeah, I don't think I didn't have the opportunities, right, to do well. But on these other tournaments, I had opportunity. I should have, been in the top 30 in a lot of these other tournaments at least. And I just, losing fish, breaking. I broke a reel. I broke a Stratic reel this tournament, and I didn't do anything. In fact, I hooked a drum, and all of a sudden I tried to reel, and you can hear gears skipping in there. So then I had to milk that thing for the rest of the day and just be really methodical. But you couldn't take up any line too fast on that. It's a Stratic too, like a really good reel. And for some reason, I have to go in there and dig in there and gill. But so that and check out the gears. So that went wrong. So a lot of things went wrong this year. They were just inexplicable bad luck. Cost tens of thousands of dollars. And not a lot of things went right. So I got one more tournament, the one Bass US Open. Hopefully maybe things will change. But I'm ready to put this year aside and try to raise the money up for this next season at TNPFL. And like I was telling the ownership guys on the way, I was like, this is not me. Like, there's a reason. I hope you guys remember the reason you guys signed me on to this league is because I can catch fish, that I am good, that I'm a diverse angler, that I can go anywhere and figure stuff out. And that is me. And I didn't display that this season. So I almost apologized to them, like, hey, this is not me. It's not indicative of the person that you guys gave an opportunity to. What else? So we're getting ready to go to the one Bass US Open, which I am good on mead. But things happen. Like last season, that's the beginning of the bad luck. Like 10th or 11th place going after day one. Had my areas, battery issues. So it's always something. So if things just don't go absolutely wrong, I should be good. And being at least in the top 10. Just because that's a lake that fits my style. That's why I grew up fishing lakes like that. But we'll see. Look forward to next year. Oh, I'm probably going to put together something. I'm down in the middle part of the country now, and I fish Table Rock a lot. So if you guys are interested in coming to Table Rock at all, I'll probably do some guiding if somebody would like to come down, just to make some extra cash and have a good time. Everybody, if you talk to any of my co-anglers that have ever been with me, they always have a great time. At the very least, we catch fish and have some laughs, and they usually learn something. Like I said, I'm not. My tournaments this year looks like I'm nothing, but actually I do know how to catch fish. I do know I'm diverse. I'm usually very consistent. And that's one thing that's killed me this year, is the fact that I didn't bring in limits very often. And normally the way I fish, I can at least get a limit, and then I can build from there. Because that's always been my goal. That's how I tailored my fishing. Is let's get a limit of bass, no matter what the size is. And then we can go target big fish. And that's why a lot of my stuff, like I have giant lures, and then I'm like very finessey. And I think the last video I talked about having to go to more, don't overthink things. And I'm transitioning more now, going into the next season, of more fishing more like some of these other guys do. Because some of these lakes aren't conducive to that finessey thing, or maybe it's just my luck. But we have to change, especially when we fish some of these southeastern fisheries, and we'll see what's on the schedule though. So if they come out where we're at right now, or they said they were going to go to the West the second year when I first signed up, if they do that, then I should be good. But now I know what I'm doing. If we go to the southeast again, like I need to just change my tactics a little bit more. Go to Texas. I think I did Texas okay. I just had, like said, bad luck. I lost some big fish there in Texarkana as well, and should have been up there. And then when I put it on them on the third day, I still lost a big fish. And I don't know. And the other thing, last thing, and I'll let go, is this year I had some dead fish, which since I've had my boat, or even my other boats, any tournament, I've never weighed in a dead fish, right? I've never had a dead fish penalty. This year, I've had a couple of events where I've had dead fish, inexplicably, because I keep my aerators on. I put in treatment. Sometimes I have ice, depending on the water temperature. Sometimes I have, a little hydrogen peroxide. Sometimes I have these other, like a G juice type thing, and I've never had an issue. And I don't even put call. A lot of people put call tags on their fish, and I haven't this year. I usually wait till I get 5 fish, and then I put it on the smallest one. And the reason is sometimes when you, especially smallmouth, when you impede their mouth area, they're a lot more sensitive, and it can have they tend to die quicker when you have that in their mouth. And same with largemouth. So I keep everything out of their mouth unless I actually have to. So I didn't understand that, and I didn't hook a lot of them bad. I think I hooked one in the tongue once, which goes down in there, and it goes in. Sometimes it affects their gill rakes, but these fish I didn't hook. I don't know what happened. So in a couple tournaments that cost me like a pound. So it was just a weird year of almost like a cursed year for me on the TNPFL, and hopefully that will change, and we'll see just like a huge, I just got to get a hold of funds, a huge skyrocket in performance, and really take off. And this next year is going to be big for the TNPFL because they signed some guys. Now we got a whole 125 guys. Some of them are names that everybody knows in fishing that are now on there. And people know our names a little bit more, but guys that have proven themselves in other circuits, like to a vast degree, like classic champions, cup champions. It'll be good. It'll be good. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, like, subscribe, help me out here with this thing. I'm growing, but I'm not growing at the rate that I'd like to. Granted, I don't have the budget that a lot of these guys do, but I'd like to get there. And so that comes down to folks like you that actually watch, pay attention to this. But I appreciate it. Anyway, peace.